She really said, "You don't belong here." That was the first shot fired. And I thought, okay, let's see how far you'll go when it's your own turf on the line. Day after day, her son's silver Porsche kept showing up in my driveway like he was entitled to valet service. Music rattling the windows, not a hint of apology, not even a sheepish wave. Just pure, bass-thumping arrogance. The part that really got me wasn't the noise, it was the pattern. Always the same time, always my spot, like he was testing how much I'd tolerate before I snapped. And let me tell you, I don't do passive. I do receipts, timestamps, pressure sensors, legal paperwork. You test my boundaries, I keep score, you know what I mean? So this Porsche keeps blocking my driveway every morning, like clockwork. I start thinking maybe I'm the crazy one, so I start logging the times, 6:42 to 7:19 a.m., like a Swiss train schedule. The kid's not even subtle about it, either. He wears this obnoxious team bracelet, always flashing in the sun as if the neighborhood needs a beacon. My garbage pickup? Blocked every Tuesday. Trash bags pile up. The HOA starts sending me gentle reminders about property standards. Meanwhile, sanitation trucks can't get past the Porsche to even pick up my bins. The absurdity of it. You ever have one of those mornings where you're ankle deep in someone else's trash and you just think, this can't be real life? My name's Daniel Cole, by the way. I'm 42, been in logistics for 2 decades, which means I know how to keep track of who's where and when. I've settled warehouse feuds nastier than this, but something about people who think the rules don't apply to them, it just gets under my skin. Especially when I shelled out $40 last spring to post no trespassing signs after another neighbor squabble, and these folks just drive right past it like it's invisible. First, I tried the nice route. Walked out there, tried to be that reasonable neighbor. "Hey there, not sure if you saw the sign, but this is private property." The kid barely looked up, just shrugged. "It's 2 minutes, man. Relax." As if it was my job to accommodate his schedule. Next day, same thing. Music louder. Eyes glued to his phone. Not so much as a head nod. I go back inside fuming, thinking about how people get raised thinking the world owes them a parking spot. That night, I get this HOA newsletter about community harmony and shared parking for neighborhood unity. You ever read something so passive-aggressive you can taste the sarcasm? In between all the fluff about neighborhood spirit, there's a buried line about $25 fines for obstructing community flow. Real subtle. I show it to my neighbor Helen Brooks, sharp as a tack at 70, who's lived here since cable was a luxury. She takes one look and goes, "Daniel, honey, the HOA can't touch your driveway. City law trumps association busybodies. That's your land." So now I'm double-checking my deed, measuring the property lines, and setting up my own little operation. Pressure sensors, camera angles. The works. I start snapping photos of oil leaks on my driveway, trash overflow, everything. And here's where it gets cinematic. Rainbow puddles from his leaky Porsche start creeping toward the storm drain. I'm not exaggerating when I say it looked like a tiny oil spill after every visit. That's not just ugly. That's city code violation territory. One morning, I set a voice recorder by the window, just out of curiosity. Most of it is noise, hip-hop, phone calls, nonsense. But then I hear, clear as day, "Mom's got this handled through official channels." And something clicks. This isn't just some dumb kid, it's coordinated. Official channels. Who calls in favors for parking? Unless you're so used to bending the rules, you don't know what a rule is anymore. The next twist? Those beautification planters the HOA dropped off just so happen to block the city inspector's equipment after I file a pollution report. Real coincidence, right? But I had cameras rolling. Sensors planted, everything logged. You mess with my property, I document. You tamper with a city investigation, now you're in legal territory. Helen, turns out she used to be a paralegal, shows me the HOA budget she accidentally got in her mail. $3,000 for parking management, and another $1,500 for community enforcement activities. I'm not saying it's a slush fund, but it sure doesn't sound like flower beds. I start talking to other neighbors. Turns out, Linda Hart, the HOA president, Colton's mom, has been targeting anyone who stands up to her. Johnson's, Martinez's, you name it. Same routine, threatening newsletters, forced harmony, fines, always with a favorite local contractor getting the work. It's not about harmony, it's about control. Soon the environmental inspector is on my lawn with city gear. The fire marshal's taking measurements. Turns out Colton's Porsche blocked the hydrant, which is a major code violation. And I'm collecting tire impressions and time-stamped footage. Linda gets snippy, tries to flex HOA power, but the fire marshal shuts her down hard. Fire code trumps all, ma'am. And I'm thinking, finally, someone who actually gets it. But then comes the real kicker. My night cam catches Colton moving boundary markers in the dark. We're not talking, oops, I tripped. These markers are 18 inches off their original lines. That's property fraud, felony level in this state. Helen helps me file the evidence. The county surveyor, police, environmental folks, insurance fraud. Investigators, suddenly, my quiet street is crawling with more officials than a city council meeting gone sideways. The day of reckoning arrives. Police cars, county vehicles, neighbors gawking from their lawns. Colton, like he's untouchable, pulls up right in the middle of the chaos and parks in my driveway. Team bracelet glinting, music blaring, like nothing's changed. He backs out and hits my concealed driveway strip, which I'd installed legally the night before. Triggers the overloaded planter Linda's crew set up, and it crashes down, shattering his windshield in front of half the block. The satisfaction in that silence. Man, you could bottle it. And just as Linda rushes out, Officer Martinez lays it all out. Tampering with boundaries is felony property fraud. Private property. Protection systems are lawful. Neighbors start piling on with their stories of fines, threats, sabotage. The news crew shows up, cameras rolling, and I don't even have to say much. The evidence does all the talking. Within a week, Linda's facing criminal charges for insurance fraud, boundary manipulation, environmental violations. Her son gets hit for evidence tampering. The insurance company sues for civil damages. The HOA holds an emergency meeting and votes her out. Helen takes over, brings in transparency, legal oversight, mandatory budget reviews. No more secret fines or sketchy contractors. The mess Colton left is towed away on a flatbed, windshield shattered, tires ruined, a monument to what happens when you think you're above the law. My driveway's clean now. No Porsche. No oil stains. No more newsletters about harmony. Linda's paying restitution, Colton's walking to college, and the whole neighborhood knows exactly where the property lines are. People still come up and thank me for standing my ground, for documenting everything, for not losing my cool, and just letting the law do its job. Funny thing is, I never set out to be the hero of a suburban showdown. I just wanted a clean driveway and a little respect. But sometimes, you have to play the long game. Keep your receipts, and let the truth hit harder than any planter ever could. Boundaries are real, folks. If you don't enforce yours, someone else will move them for you. So what would you have done in my place? Drop a comment. Hit like if you want more real stories. And don't forget to subscribe if you're all about keeping the peace and the parking spot.